Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Let's take a look at confidence intervals with means. Our first example, a closely contested presidential election pitted George W. Bush against John Kerry in 2004. A poll taken immediately before the 2004 election showed that 51% of the sample intended to vote for Kerry. The polling organization announced that they were 95% confident that the sample result was within plus minus 2 points of the true percent of all voters who favored Kerry. So 51% within plus or minus 2 points, and it's a 95% confidence. So what does it mean? Okay, what does this mean? All right, it means we take the 51% plus and minus the 2%. Okay, 51% minus 2% gives us 49%. 51% plus 2% gives us 53%. What does that tell us? This means they are 95% confident that Kerry will get 49% to 53% of the vote. All right, let's look at different confidence levels and what they look like on the normal curve. There are different confidence levels that we can have. On the normal curve below, let's shade the normal curve according to the confidence level given. All right, I've got these filled in already. So this one's a confidence level of 80%. All right, so what we're going to do is we're just going to estimate that 80% is from about, we use the center, the middle, is from about here to here. The mean is in the middle. I will mark these z-scores in a little bit. Okay, we're going to look at that later. All right, so this is about 80%, and the decimal for that is 0.80. 90%. 90% is a little bit wider. Okay, and the decimal is 0.90. Again, the mean is in the middle, and then I'll fill in these z-scores in a little bit. So 80%, 90%. Okay, the next one we're going to look at is 95%. So that one is going to be a little bit wider. Okay, so that one's going to go just a little bit wider, 95%. Okay, 0.95. And then the last one that we do is the 99%. And that's almost all of it. There's just a little bit in this tail and a little bit in this tail. So those are the 4 confidence levels that we follow. Okay, 80%, 90%, 95%, and 99%. All right. So we have a formula that we're going to use for the confidence interval. Okay, X bar, and that's the mean of the sample. Okay, we've done that already. We've talked about that. Z star, this is going to be new. Then we've got the standard deviation. Okay, Z star is based on the confidence level. We'll look at those numbers in a bit. Times the standard deviation over the square root of n. Okay, and n is our sample size, and that's called the margin of error. Now, our confidence levels. The 80%, the Z star is 1.28. So, okay, 80%, 1.28. So go back and go back to the 80, and we're going to put in negative 1.28 and positive 1.28. So 80% goes from this Z to this Z. 90% is 1.645. Okay, 90% goes from negative 1.645 to positive 1.645. Okay, that's our Z-score for 90%, left to right. Okay, 95%, 1.96. So negative 1.96 to positive 1.96. And the 99% has the Z-score from negative 2.576 to positive 2.576. All right, you do not have to memorize these, ladies and gentlemen. I will give those to you, but you're going to have to know how to use them in our formula. All right, let's look at example number 1. Here we go. I've already got everything marked out. The basketball coach has been keeping track of all scores over the season and wants to know with 95% confidence. Okay, that right there, ladies and gentlemen, tells me to look at this. 95% confidence, that tells me I'm using 1.96. What is what the score will be at any given game? Take it as known that the standard deviation of the score is 10 points. Okay, standard deviation is 10 points. Based on the data below, find a 95% confidence interval for the coach. All right, so first thing we're going to need to do, ladies and gentlemen, is we're going to have to type this data, okay, into our calculator to find the mean. So we did this earlier. Okay, I'm not going to do this whole thing with you. So you're going to need to type all of these in. Okay, type them all in, all of these in, and then find your mean. Remember, you're going to go stat, calculate number 1, and it's going to tell you the mean. Okay, so I've already done all of that to save time. So what do we find? Okay, we find that the mean is 84. There's 22 numbers in this list. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22. And the standard deviation is 10. All right, we take our formula. Okay, here's X. X is 84. Plus minus. The Z star is, okay, again, looking at our formula, next comes the Z star, 1.96 times 10, standard deviation, divided by the square root of n, and n is 22. Okay, 2 parts. We take this minus all of this. Again, you're going to take your calculator. Okay, I'll do this once. We're going to go ahead and go 84 minus the 1.96 times the 10 divided by the square root of 22. Okay, you don't even have to close the parentheses. All right, so we can see that gives us 79.8. We're going to round that to 80 because you can't have part of a basketball point. All right, then we're going to do the plus part. So 84 plus the 1.96 times all of that. And we get 88.2 or approximately 88. Make sure you practice with the calculator. If you need more time, pause the video. All right, now we got to write our conclusion here. Okay, we are 95% confident to score 80 to 88 points. Okay, so the coach is pretty confident they're going to score 80 to 88 points, 95% confident. All right, next one. Again, pause the video if this is too fast. 99% confident. So the only thing we're going to change, ladies and gentlemen, is our Z. Okay, so we need to use this one, 2.576. So 84 plus minus 2.576 times the 10 square root of 22. All right, type all of that into the calculator. And you're going to do the minus first, and you're going to get about 79 points. Then you're going to do the plus, and you're going to get about 89 points. All right, so we are 99% confident to score 79 to 89 points. All right, I'm going to move this. If you need more time, pause it. All right, one more example. Here we go. So in this one, we did a survey. Whoops, can't see it. There we go. A survey of 100 beekeepers was given. That's our sample size. In the survey, they found the average beehive has 40,000 bees. Okay, average, X bar, with a standard deviation of 5,000 bees. Find each confidence interval below based on the information. Okay, first one is 80%. So 40,000 plus or minus 1.28 times 5,000 divided by 100. Okay, do the minus. Again, use your calculator. You get 39,360. Use the plus, 40,640. Okay, we are 80% confident there are 39,360 to 40,640 bees in a beehive. Okay, I'm going to go on. Pause it if you need more time. Okay, same thing, except this one's 90%. Switch this to 1.645. All right, and here's all of the work. All right, next one is the 95%. Again, just switch your Z star, use all of the other numbers are the same. Okay, plug it in. And here's our conclusion. And same thing with the last one. Okay, I'll leave this up for about a minute. And if you need more time, go ahead and pause it. All right, thank you, ladies and gentlemen.